Welcome back to Straight Talk. I'm Laural Porter. We're talking with Republican candidate for governor, State Representative Knute Buehler. Once again, it's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You differ from a lot of Republicans in your stance on abortion. You're pro-choice, you describe yourself as pro-choice, and you point to a bill that you successfully pushed to expand access to birth control in 2015. But Planned Parenthood's Oregon PAC endorsed Kate Brown, and I want to read you part of why they said they did, and then I'll get your response to it. Planned Parenthood said Governor Brown's likely opponent, Knute Buehler, has repeatedly played partisan political games with Oregon women's health and rights. In contrast, Kate Brown has shown decades of leadership in standing up for Planned Parenthood and protecting access to health care, even in the toughest of economic and political times. Oregon women will not be fooled. It goes on to say Knute Buehler claims to be a rare pro-choice Republican, but has a long history of questionable actions regarding women's health and rights. How do you respond to that?
Well, clearly, Laural, as you outlined, I am a pro-choice Republican, and I certainly believe in a woman's right to choose, but I'm certainly not pro-abortion. I think we should make abortion as rare as possible, safe but rare, and one of the ways we can do that is increasing access to contraception, and that's what I did in my first term of office in the Oregon legislature. I actually produced groundbreaking legislation where any Oregon woman now can walk into their local retail pharmacy and within 20 minutes or so come out with the oral contraceptive prescription provided by the pharmacist. Decreases cost, increases the ease of access. We've seen abortions in Oregon go down 20% because of that kind of access, and now several states across the country are copying that legislation. So I don't like to play partisan games with these things. I like to produce real results, and that's the kinds of things that we've done in the legislature over the last 4 years.
What do you say to critics who say that your bill that you're talking about only closed a loophole and it really doesn't do as much as you say it does?
Oh, it closed a loophole. It opened incredible access to contraception that has never existed anywhere in the nation, and the results speak for themselves. That's the beautiful thing about this. You produce a legislation that's groundbreaking, and you can trace it to real results. And just talk to most women in Oregon how easy it is now. Think how hard it was before, where you had to actually get an appointment with a doctor, get time off from work, go to your appointment, have it called into a pharmacy, go down to the pharmacy. Now you can just go down to your regular retail Fred Meyer pharmacy, for example, walk in, and 20 minutes later you walk out with the oral contraception. That's real results.
They also ask why you oppose the bill this year guaranteeing access to reproductive care, including abortion, called the Reproductive Health Equity Act.
Yeah, that really expanded access to abortion for people who weren't even qualified to receive it in the past, and anyone who wanted to come to Oregon for abortion, it could be paid for with public funds. Remember, I want to make abortion as rare as possible. I want to prevent pregnancy with increased access to contraception, more access to services like adoption, not pay for more abortions in the state of Oregon.
We have just about 3 minutes left, but I did want to touch on something that you say really is your #1 priority, and that is improving education, public education in the state. How would you do that?
Yeah, Laural, I feel strongly. Someone who went to public schools and was really that escalator for me to try to pursue my dreams, to reach a higher level. I went to Roseburg Public Schools, and it pains me right now to see the condition of our public schools. I feel strongly we have to rescue our kids, our teachers, and our classrooms from the really underperforming status quo of Oregon schools. Some of the worst in the nation. Worst graduation rates, shortest school year, some of the biggest class sizes. I truly think it's the #1 failure of Governor Brown is kind of her indifference to fixing this big and important problem.
And you have blamed PERS, which is, conundrum. It's sort of a Rubik's Cube that we haven't been able to solve in this state. Governor Kitzhaber tried with the grand bargain in 2013, but the Oregon Supreme Court overturned a lot of those reforms. What can you do, and we only have 2 minutes left, but what can you do to try to solve that problem?
Yeah, it's a solvable problem. PERS is a Rubik's Cube that will be solved. And it will be solved by someone like me who can provide that independent leadership free of any special interest influence. And it's clear it's a hard problem to solve, but also the Oregon Supreme Court has outlined a solution set that will pass legal muster. And in brief, our loyal public employees need to have that moral imperative to solve that problem. For those retired public employees, they need certainty that their retirement's going to be there. And for taxpayers and kids and others who are dealing with the lack of operational revenue, we have to solve that problem.
We have about a minute 15 left, but I want to touch on transportation. You opposed the big $5.3 billion transportation bill. Now we're hearing about the possibility, the real possibility of tolls on I-5, I-205. What do you think about that? Will we see tolls?
I voted against the transportation package because I didn't think it solved Portland's congestion problems. And one of the reasons is it didn't have a clear funding source and a good plan for what was going to happen when you actually got those dollars. I was concerned during the session that tolling was going to be a big part of it, and it is a big part of that plan. I think Portland has a big mess right now. Think about how difficult it is for people, that mom who's trying to get the kids to the soccer game, that plumber's trying to go from job to job to job to actually move around. It's enormously frustrating for people, and the plan that came out of the legislature is just not going to fix it for Portland.
So yes or no? Tolls, yes or no?
No on tolls unless it creates a new bridge or a big new project.
Representative Knute Buehler, thank you for joining us here on Straight Talk. We hope you'll come back before the election.
Absolutely.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next week for Straight Talk. You can send us your comments online. Just look for us on Twitter at KGW Straight Talk. Have a great week.